Hello, my name is Bailey Holly, also known as Sunshine. My ghost reader, Landon Michael Raoul Watson IV, was not able to make it today, so I'll be reading this myself. Of course, we're doing the finals and all that. This is what I learned in creative writing. And the three topics that I chose to fiddle around with in this presentation was naturalism, dialogue, and how to force creativity in a limited amount of time and or word limit. The forced creativity, like we get subjects, we have a week or so, like usually between a week to 2 weeks. We have word counts, time spans. You have to come up with the idea, figuring out your storyline, piecing together the ending, adding details, and then, of course, learning new words, aka using a thesaurus 2 or 3 times each sentence. And the forced creativity of all this, that's a big thing that I learned this year. Before this class, I'd start writing things, I'd write poems, I'd not look at it for 3 months, and then glance at it, another 3 months would go by, never finish it, and I'd come up with really good ideas and never follow through with them. And this class has really helped me with being able to basically finish my projects. I've done a lot of good works this year, and I had done works in the past that were pretty good, but my biggest issue is being able to finish them and forcing me to be creative other than like, oh, every 3 weeks a poem comes into my head, like, oh yeah, let's write. But this class has helped me be able to push that along and take my creative ideas and actually run with them instead of setting them down and maybe looking at them again. Dialogue, this is the hardest thing that I've ever had to do in this, or try to write about. It's worse than typing up an English paper, any other paper that I've ever had to do, because dialogue, it's talking. It's having a conversation. And if you know me, or had a class with me, which all of you have, you know that I'm not a very talkative person. And I'm introverted, I'm shy, and I don't have conversations unless they're started with me first. So having to write a whole dialogue of having a conversation, it was really hard for me. Like words, talking, being social, I'm not too sure about all that. So that was probably my worst grade this entire year, but I learned how to write it, so hopefully I improved a tad bit in that. And then my last topic would be naturalism, which it used determinism, which is writing from the position of human life that is determined by environmental forces rather than free will. So basically, naturalism, you're a product of your own environment. And say if you grew up in a shack and you had nothing your whole life, naturalism would be growing up and continuing that pattern. If you may go in and out of the shack, but you're going to end up there eventually. You end up where you start out. And naturalism, I think, is easiest to write when you know about or have experienced what you're trying to write about, which I guess that could be true for any type of writing, but really for naturalism, because if you go out there and try to write about someone who is like stuck up, stereotypical, gets everything that they want, and you've never gotten anything that you want, then you don't really know how to write from that perspective, unless you have an outside source that's helping you. So it's easiest to write when you know what you're writing about. And here, since that was my best grade I've gotten all year, here's my little excerpt from that. And I wrote it from the perspective of a suicide note about a girl, she was raped, and it's in a way kind of mocking and presenting rape culture about how girls, they're born into this world that teaches you be scared instead of teaching boys behave like a human being. So, here's this. I don't want to go into too much detail of what happened next because I'm sure you're reading this, Mom. I just really don't want you to think that I'm a slut. Please just remember me as your pure little girl. I didn't mean for any of this to happen. I guess you could say it was a date rape situation, except I've seen the trials on TV, and it's almost never the boy's fault. I shouldn't have smiled at him. I shouldn't have worn shorts. I shouldn't have answered my phone. I shouldn't have been nice. Because being nice gets you nowhere but on your bed crying. Too drunk to process what's going on. Too drunk to push a sober boy off of you. Today is October 15th, 2012. If you're reading this, then I'm gone. I would have told you, but you wouldn't understand. I told one of my friends, a few of them actually. They all said the same thing. Well, what were you wearing? And, come on, you were drinking, that's your own fault. Or even if you thought that I was lying, that I wanted attention. On September 22nd, 2012, Dylan took my virginity. 21 days later, I took my own life. So, that was my excerpt of, being born into a society where it teaches you that it's your fault when concerning rape, oh, you were wearing shorts, or you were drinking, or you went outside and had a normal human being life. But, it was your fault, you were asking for it. That's what society teaches us, and really, I think it's idiotic. So, my little paper, it was making fun of that, but it was also naturalism. My dog is whining right now. Cassie, come here. Cassie,
stop it.
This is my animal. Her name's Casserole. Come on. Cassie, what do you know about naturalism? Okay. Well, I guess about naturalism some more. Cassie, she was born into a dog world. She's gonna die in a dog world. And she's just a dog girl. So, that's that. She's a product of her own dog environment. She doesn't know how to be a human and be quiet when someone's giving a presentation because her dog parents never taught her that. And she's never gonna learn. Because, she's a dog. She's gonna sit here on my bed. She's gonna whine some more. She's gonna say, Bailey, come play with me. Because she doesn't understand. She's just a product of her own dog mind. And that is naturalism. Being a dog in a dog world. So, there's that. So that's what I've learned in creative writing this year. And I've learned a lot from you guys. I love each and every one of you. And I think of you all as my children. That's probably weird, especially because some of you are the same age as me. So I guess that's more directed toward the younger ones. But just all of you, you're wonderful. I'm glad that I had a class with you this year. I've learned a lot from y'all, and I hope that you can learn from me. And if any of you ever need anything, I'm here.